Good evening, NWA fam and YouTube and Twitterverse and all that. I'm Rob.
Hey guys, I'm Tanya, aka the Mama.
We wanted to take this occasion on Mother's Day and our anniversary, happens to fall on the same day this year, to introduce our community to Tanya. You've seen her from time to time in a few episodes of Table Talk, and I don't think you've been in a Piper's Notes yet, although we refer to you all the time.
I don't think so, but yeah, I've kind of been referred to. I've been working a lot. As you know, I work in the hospital, so during this time of the crisis, it's been a little crazy with my hours, but I've seen all the episodes. It's just awesome, and I really wanted to be on here and really be a part of it. So I'm really excited on Mother's Day to be able to be here and say hi to all the NWA fam, and it's just really fun. I'm excited.
And she is active on Facebook and on Twitter. Facebook under Tanya Stinson. You can find her on Twitter at Tanya_Stinson86. 86 is the year that she was born, so we're roughly the same age.
Oh, please tell my age. That's not nice. I'm also on Instagram too. I just had Tanya Stinson, but
she's mostly active on MySpace and Snack Shack and
yeah, MySpace,
Napster, LiveJournal.
You know, you still haven't made it to my top 5 friends yet.
That's how it was back in the day. You knew if you fell out of your girlfriend's top 5.
It was coming.
You knew it was a conversation about to happen.
What was your background music on MySpace?
A couple things. One, my first one, when I first started, it was something from The Cure. I think it was like Fascination Street. But then for a while, I really got into Coheed and Cambria, and I still am into Coheed and Cambria. But it was a Welcome Home. And then for for a short amount of time while I was dating this one particular girl, it was Yeah from Usher, which is and I like Usher. Now, Usher is a local.
Song. Yeah, so
he's a Chattanooga boy.
I used to bartend all through college, right? And so I worked at the same bar for about 4 or 5 years to make it my way through. And literally the entire time, I would play at least 7 times a night. Oh my gosh! So I can't stand that song. So
that's not bad.
Well, no, but if you had to listen to it as much as I did, it's like Mariah Carey and Christmas carols. When you work in that industry, it's you can only listen to it so much. It's not bad. It's just repetitious.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I listen to, speaking of Christmas carols, I listen to Sue John Stevens on read.
Oh my gosh.
And we never get tired of that.
And the Christmas is in the room.
Christmas in the Room, and then Angels We Have Heard on High.
Christmas in the Room, though, that's it's got my heart. I love that song. Okay, anyway, you want to tell me?
No, that's cool. That's what we're here to get to know the community and everything.
Yeah,
so
not anywhere near Christmas yet. I'm not wishing that right now.
We really particularly love Halloween in our household. All of our kids do, and not that we have some morbid household. We just think Halloween is the most creative season, and it's a lot of fun, and it's spooky, and
it's just fun,
it's cool. So we're looking forward mostly to Halloween, and then afterwards, I think we kind of have this sort of horror type twist to every holiday that we celebrate. So our Christmas tree is decorated.
Fun. Yeah, we got these Hobby Lobby, these big white globe Christmas ornaments, and then Piper and Rob, because they're the creative ones, drew Jack's skeleton faces on it. It was so cool. And then we had these boas. It was the coolest thing. We had a little miniature Zero. It was a lot of fun this year. That Christmas tree was so much fun just to make. It was a really fun family project. But
all of our relatives.
Yeah.
Now my parents are both deceased, but her parents come to the house and are "What cult is he getting you into?" I'm look, listen, the kingdom of Josephus is not a cult, okay? It is the enlightened way. It's the truth.
I know, my parents did look at it. My parents were okay with it. It's my grandfather that came over to the house this Christmas that looked at it, and he was like, "Is that a skull on your tree?"
But then again, he's the one who also questioned us on the name Petra for Petra.
If you're going to use a biblical name, he's like, "Why don't you name her Sarah?"
He's cool.
He's
Lester's
sweet.
great.
Yeah, he's just, he's of that generation.
He's from a different time.
He is sweet. He did not get Petra at all.
Well, anyway, what we wanted to do, besides introduce my lovely wife, Tanya, to you guys, so you can kind of put a face with a name, although you have seen her here and there. We wanted to do a special fan reaction to a music video, and we've been thinking about this all day. about a mother themed video, and we thought about Home Sweet Home from Ozzy Osbourne and some other things, and we kind of looked at them like, wow, they're mostly just basically concert appearances turned to videos, so there's not a lot to comment on. And then I was like, man, speaking of Coheed and Cambria, which we mentioned just a few minutes ago, they have a fabulous video that's very much like in the spirit of like the
Mother,
Cleavers, Leave It to Beaver and all that, and it's really cool. So we wanted to react to a great video by a great band, and that video is the video Feathers. So we're going to do that now.
I love it.
And we'll look at that and we'll chat for a minute afterwards. So let's watch Feathers.
I'm excited.
So my initial thoughts are when it comes on is like, this sounds like the opening riff to Poison's Fallen Angel.
It really does, but this is so Leave It to Beaver. Like, this is exactly how it came on. Look at those pancakes. She's got big pancakes,
too. Man. Something about her.
I mean, she's like, look at how good these are. I am awesome. I mean, she's got like look at berries, bananas.
See, for me, you guys don't realize, like, I don't have a sweet tooth at all. So I'm looking at this breakfast, I'm like, ooh.
Well, apparently they are too, because look what's coming next. Like, oh, this is okay, Mom, thanks. Where's the meat?
That's what I'm talking about.
It's got like one little shriveled sausage.
They're going through, right now, we went through the whole toilet paper shortage. Now we're going through the meat shortage
the sausage
in the markets during COVID-19.
Oh, look how disappointed they are in her.
That's not nice.
It's just not. Like,
she's trying.
I mean, after those pancakes.
Hey, a mom will go to any lengths to satisfy her family. Just watch. Oh,
we got the cereal box. I'm like, here's
we got some secrets in this family.
Is it the milkman?
Uh-oh.
Mom says nice as she appears. Man, his hair is just epic, right?
That's Claudio Sanchez, man.
I mean, it's like...
And the thing is, like if you've ever seen Claudio with his hair back, he looks kind of like very thin like me. But with that hair like that, boy, he looks like a...
He could be a wrestler.
He could.
He looks like an NWA
looks like
wrestler.
A Bruiser Brody or
he does.
Something like that. Oh, no! I love the...
She's like...
Man, this girl is sizzling, boy.
Hey, watch it.
I'm just saying. I'm just calling a spade a spade.
Oh.
Lord.
Pure Lord. Oh. Poor the guy.
It's Adam Rotella. Oh, go back. It's Adam Rotella. Oh.
She's like the witch off Hansel and Gretel, man. She's like... I like all he is a head and a foot. Oh, have you ever seen fried green tomatoes? Oh, no. Maybe not.
There goes Rotella right there.
Rotella.
Down the hatch.
No coffee tomorrow. Sorry,
you guys,
Adam.
due to technical circumstances, individual coffee was posted.
What is that, salt? I mean, she's seasoning them.
Little Johnny seasoning.
Oh, Johnny seasoning. Oh.
That looks like a pate we feed Ashford.
Ew,
Our cat is named Ashford.
Oh, gravy in it.
I ain't gonna lie. Yep, I ain't gonna lie. I'm like, it's like
looks better than pancakes.
We had hot dogs tonight. We grilled hot dogs tonight. And then we went out to eat for Mother's Day, in our anniversary. But we grilled hot dogs tonight with Petra, and
they were good.
They were yummy.
Yeah,
so but it's like with hot dogs, just don't tell me what's inside. I don't want to know the process.
Beef like Frank's though, the ballpark. I don't. Ooh, I think that would end it for me. Oh, it's all curly. Oh, look at them candies. Like,
my mom will go to any lengths. Little dog too.
Poor little puppy. Look at her. She's just
awesome
like,
video, man.
Look at.
That is.
So next week, right?
There you go. That was Feathers by Coheed and Cambria. I've been a Coheed and Cambria fan for a long time. A lot of people, if you don't know, Coheed and Cambria are a concept band, so they build this story of the Amory Wars or the Armory Wars, and it's really kind of convoluted. People who are like into the band really understand it. People outside, it's going to take some time. It's like me explaining to someone who's never known the Star Wars universe, like what's going on, just coming into The Force Awakens.
Like he does to me every time. I mean, I appreciate Star Wars. I like Coheed Cambria, but I don't like know the whole backstory, and I still really enjoy their music.
Well,
I don't think you have to be the comic book fan to really like enjoy it. I think they're just awesome.
You listen to Welcome Home,
yeah,
The Crowing.
The Crowing is my favorite by far.
Everything Evil. I mean, Neverender. You listen to these songs, and you're like, what the heck is he talking about? But it doesn't matter because the songs just freaking hit you, man. They're great rock songs.
I tell you what really changed me about the band is we went and seen them actually live at the Tabernacle. And if you're anywhere in the Atlanta area and after all this is over and you get to go to a concert at the Tabernacle, go. It's a restored church. All the acoustics were just super awesome. And we were there and they were rocking the place. And the crazy part is you could feel those old joists in the floor, like rocking with the band. I'm like, we're about to fall through.
Well, remember,
awesome.
like 2 or 3 weeks later, it did fall through.
It
did. It actually did fall through, and they made the news.
Crazy.
They've since repaired and everything, but it was like
cool
you could feel the joists and everything. Who else was there that night? That Coheed was there.
I don't know.
Coheed was the main act?
Yeah, for sure.
We had seen Coheed at Coheed had toured with Slipknot, and we're in Nashville at Bridgestone, and but they're freaking great. I love Coheed and Cambria.
But that Tabernacle experience, I'm telling you, it's just such an intimate, small venue, but it's just so cool. I don't know. It's very, very unique, very cool to Atlanta.
Right.
Atlanta's a great city.
It is. And one thing that I like about Coheed and Cambria in particular, and this is relevant to like the NWA fam, is Claudio Sanchez, the lead singer, and his bandmates too. They're involved in this, but he got to start out illustrating comic books, and he developed this whole Armory War story. This idea of this author who's named Claudio in the story, who writes, and his writing enters into this parallel universe. But the reason I bring that up is because Coheed and Cambria have really touched on something, and like you see it with the movies, the video Feathers. They've got this cinematic appeal. They've got this obviously this cross-cultural appeal with
horror flick kind of feel.
The horror,
the 50s.
The comics. There's also a lot of obviously, if you've ever listened to anything from Coheed, they bring in a lot of philosophy, a lot of theology. He's heavily influenced by Christianity, by other worldviews, and this and that, and all those things come into play. Like one of the cool things is like he's slowly realizing that he's like this Messiah figure, and he's got these guardian angel type entities called prizes that are there to look after him and all that. But anyway, the reason I say that is because what the band Coheed and Cambria represent to me is very much like what wrestling represents. It's a convergence of all these different intellectual interests from athletic competition, prize fights, the great morality play and struggle between good and evil.
That's what always gets me when you say it's like morality play in wrestling. I think that's when I start to understand it because, I mean, morality plays have been going on since, the Dark Ages.
Oh man, like that's
Canterbury
Tales.
Yeah, that's just such, human interest. And when you talk about wrestling and it's like good versus evil, like, but then I think NWA though, I like it because it's not just like a good character that's just like always good versus like an always bad character, and there's like good versus evil. It's like more complex than that. It's more like a prize fight.
I think like someone today in the
even someone's a little heelish, they're not like
right. Yeah. Now this came up today, this morning on Twitter. I think it was RJ or J Cal or somebody was making the point about we've been talking about heels being good heels, and I've expressed before how like I think MJF, who's a great talent, has kind of gone too far because if it's not palatable for kids, it's as far everything has their own taste, but it's not palatable for us.
Right.
But it's like with the NWA, what Billy Corgan and Lagana have put their finger on is people are mixed bags.
Yeah.
So you don't really have, you can't look at, and you guys might disagree, and you can let us know when we post this and all that, or this might be a topic for conversation when we get together with Gary Horn and Solomon and all that, the concept of heelishness or baby face-ishness. But you think of like Nick Aldis, who's the top name in the company right now. He's not really a heel.
No.
I mean, yeah, Tim Storm is definitely a baby.
He's a little bit more edgy maybe than Tim Storm, and like his like personality, his persona, like what he's projecting. But he's definitely not like your heel like you see on the WWE.
No.
He's not that over the top.
He's motivated by self-interest. His self-interest happen to align with the company and with holding the title.
Right.
But this is a guy who is still very much statesman-like. He's still when he comes out, he speaks with an air of authority, and it means something. And then even Thunder Rosa, our women's champion.
I love Thunder
Oh
Rosa.
my gosh,
she's
she
my
is the
favorite
best.
from the graveyards of Tijuana. Once I heard that tagline, I was like sold, like hook sinker. I was like, that is the coolest thing. I love Mexico.
So when she's hanging out,
yeah,
she's with
I
Melina.
love that whole I don't know, the whole culture. I just thought it was the coolest gimmick, the coolest personality. I think, and the NWA is definitely Thunder Rosa. She's my favorite.
She's awesome, man. Is she a heel? Of course she's not a heel. This is an athlete.
No.
She's hanging out with Melina, Marty Bell knows, and those ladies. Then you got like Mae Valentine, who is so over. You got Question Mark, who is so over, but they're associated with people who you might typically classify as heels, with like Mae with Royce Isaacs, and then Question Mark with the shooter, Aaron Stevens. And just everyone, even Josephus is like, yeah, he does his thing, but Josephus is like motivated. It's almost like when you think about Sith Lords. Sith Lords, are they heels? Maybe they're heelish. I like to say they're misunderstood.
Yeah.
The Sith are motivated by a power principle. They're motivated by a certain sense of justice. It might be a misguided sense of justice.
I would say you may or may not agree with their justice. Right. I mean, I just think the NWA is just cool because there's so many different personalities and so many different perspectives, and it's so deep that I think anyone can find something that they can relate to. And that's really what it is. It's a human interest. It's not just some like crazy over-the-top production that they're just like, what's the wildest thing we can come up with, even though it doesn't make any sense. That's where sometimes I think other productions lose me. And I'm not saying they're any less or more than the NWA. I'm just saying for me, why I like the NWA is because I can really watch it and like, oh, okay. And I'm not even a wrestling fan, honestly. I'm like one of those people who can get into anything. If I like art. I like, theater. I like music. I like all kinds of different things.
Right.
Movies. I mean, anything, really.
Gary Horn does this, and we've referred to this in previous episodes. Gary Horn does this amazing podcast with Marty Bell, one of his absolute best. And Marty Bell studied theater, and she makes the comment that for her, everything converged with wrestling. All of her training back with music and theater and all that, and I think that's exactly what it is. But the other thing is like the NWA is so relatable, and it brings not only does the talent interact with the fan base like it has, like it have with us very graciously, but it brings a community together. The NWA family is so vibrant, and I think of like Gary Horn, my man. I think of Adam Rotella, Elder Sauer, RJ, J Cal, Hey It's Will, my new friend. I think of Last Minute Podcast, Wrestling with the MMA, Fortson, Wrestling Days, Pipe Picasso. All of these guys, I'm missing somebody out there. The Mass Fan, Dawn of Wrestling, who I love, who I want. If you're watching Dawn, I want you on Piper's Notes. We'll talk about that later. But it's just so awesome, man.
It's a really fun concept. I like it a lot.
But anyway, guys.
Maybe not as much as you.
What's that?
Maybe not as much as you. But I do. I think it's really fun to watch. I'm excited. I was really bummed that, of course, because of safety, everything got canceled. But, it's always that little sense of like, oh, man, I was really looking forward to it. I was, wanting to see another taping, wanting to see the Crockett Cup, but
they will be back. They will be back.
Yeah, I think our nation's on a mend, and
And Tuesday is Superpower, and they're airing Superpower, which to me, and I'm not in conversations with Lagan or anybody like that.
Right.
But it seems to me that suggests a lot of optimism about they're about to be able to be in a position to produce new content. Otherwise, they would, they've been sitting on this Superpower for so long. We were there that day that they filmed it along with Gary and Adam and Elder Sauer and some of those guys, Sandoval, Mastan, they were all there. They've been sitting on this for all these weeks because everything was up in the air, but now that it's coming out on Tuesday, it suggests to me that things are starting to move again.
I think so.
And hopefully before too long, maybe in the next couple months or so, we will be back in that GPB studio, cheering on the question mark and Shooter Stevens and our champion Nick Aldis and Thunder Rosa and all the amazing talent in the National Wrestling Alliance. And
I think you're right. I think we are getting back to a state of normalcy. Just being in the hospital and seeing it firsthand, I've seen a huge change over the last 2 weeks. The numbers have dropped down dramatically. We're starting to pick up elective procedures again. And I think those sort of things are making me excited that all the fun things are going to continue to start to pick up. And, we'll have to get back to somewhat normal anyway.
In the meantime, we've still got the NWA fam in our community out there that we can engage with on through Twitter and YouTube and Facebook and Instagram and all that. Like we only briefly ran into Elder Sauer and Gary and Adam. We didn't even really talk, but we saw you guys at the studio. But I feel like I know you very intimately just from having engaged through this outlet and everything. And it's the NWA that has brought this community together. So we're very much in favor of it in our house. Our family supports it. We raise our daughters off of it, and they'll grow up just like we did. Just venerating these days and looking back as these are the great days of pro wrestling, and it's cool. So anyway, guys, thank you for joining us tonight. I'm so happy for you to meet my lovely wife. And
I hope everyone has a great Mother's Day. Thanks for having me.
No problem. I was able to pencil you in.
I know, like you found me. But I mean, to all those mamas out there doing all the tasks, who are now homeschooling, who are maybe still working, who are trying to keep their kids, happy and everyone, stable. I know that's a super hard job. All the mamas out there. I wish you the best Mother's Day. All of our love from the Stinsons. I just hope you guys, are finding some happiness in this point, all the good things.
So, from the Stinsons to you, best wishes. You guys have a good evening. NWA fam, NWA for life.
Bye, guys. Mwah.